All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. I would like to say shalom to you, Akim, and you, Fuakwath, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Micah Allah, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, Lord willing to edify. And the title of this lesson is simply "A Standard Will Be Lifted," or a standard will be lifted for us. You see? And it's important to believe the report because of the times that we're in. We're in a time where, Esau, Edom, he understands and knows that his kingdom is at its end. He knows that his time of ruling is short. He doesn't have an extended, period of time to rule. You see, the Lord has given this man an appointed time and season to come into power. And we're in the time and season where he's about to be taken out of power. But he's not going to just go down, or go out without fighting. He's not just finna, surrender the throne, so to speak. This man has a plan to destroy, really the elect of the nation of Israel, and really Israel as a whole, you see, but mainly focusing on, the fact that by us raising up, the Lord raising us up in these last days, he understand that that's a sign of his downfall. You see, that's why scriptures tell you how great fear fell upon them, they're seeing us standing upon our feet, roughly paraphrasing. You see, the Lord has allowed us, to wake up in these last days, return back into our power. Yahweh Shema Washai. And that's what makes things happen in the earth, man. You see? But seeing that this man has such a perfect hatred for the nation of Israel, this is an ancient hatred. This ain't just something brand new. You Jake still wondering, why the so-called white man, shoot you down in the streets, treat you like shit, why you always get the bad end of the stick. Why is it always a conflict between you so-called black, Latinos, and Native Americans and so-called white people? You see, because that's an ancient hatred and it's biblical, you see. But this Proverbs 29 and verse 27, it says, an unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. You see? So the Lord has caused us to be upright in mind once again. The Lord has caused us to return back unto him. And now we've been given the mind of our power. You see? And Esau despises that. He despises that, and he's willing to go as far as he will kill off his own people than to see us rule, man, because that's an ancient hatred. But with that being said, even though this man likes to flex his military might, he could talk all this shit, write all these legislations and laws. At the end of the day, Yahweh Shema Washai trumps all of that. And the Lord is going to show his power in these last days. Because that's what's you people been not paying attention to in the planet Earth is the power of Yahweh Shema Washai. But the Lord is going to catch all you people's attention when he raises up his men, his elect men in these last days with their spiritual power, when you see miracles being worked, when we are in a society where these people downplay the Bible. They downplay the power of the Lord, man. You see, we are stuck in a society where these people downplay the God of the Bible, or they take certain talking points like miracles, they take it lightly, or that's just something that happened in the ancient world. It's nothing that's relevant to today. No, that's not the case, man. And the Lord even shows hints of spiritual power through his creations. As I'm about to give you an example, of an animal that is able to become invisible. You see? And guess what? That's biblical. As we're about to go into on how Yahweh Shemel Shah has the power to make somebody invisible, man. This is a power that we serve. This is who we have our faith in. This ain't just some Jeebus, you know what I'm saying, any other deity out there, you know what I mean, that people just like to talk about, and you really just take the power lightly. No, man. The Lord is going to command the attention of you people, and it's going to be done through his power, man. You see, and this is what we are here to promote. We're here to promote, or to proclaim the power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. You see? But let's go here. Let's get into this video. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. This Wisdom of Solomon 12 in verse 1, because how I made the point on how the Lord's power is shown even through his creations, even through animals. Look at the beast, roughly paraphrasing, look at the beast of the field and they shall teach thee, roughly paraphrasing, because animals have a form of spiritual power, and that's the Lord showing his power, in that scale. How much more for his elect chosen people, you see? But this Wisdom of Solomon 12 in verse 1, it says, for thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. You see? The Lord's incorruptible spirit is in everything, man. You see? And even through animals, the Lord's power can be seen. And you could get wisdom from that. You could get faith from that. Because it ain't like the Lord shied away from his power. The Lord always boasted himself in his strength, man. And it's no different today. That's why, let's go here. Oh, man. What is it? Oh, okay. Jeremiah 9. (9 and 24), it says, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me. You see? And this is what we glory in. This is what we get off on. The fact that we know and understand our power. Yahweh Shemel Shah. We understand and know that we serve a limitless power, not a limited power. You see? See, well, you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, where you go wrong at is that you believe in other gods that are limited, that really have no power, that don't exist. You see? instead of believing on Yahweh Shem Shai, our creator, who is alive and well, man, and who exists. Yahweh, he is. He exists. Yahweh Shai, he saves. He delivers. You know? These are not low-level powers, man. These are the same powers that created the heavens and the earth. The Lord tells you that he created the heavens and the earth, man. That's him boasting himself. It says that I am the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For all these things I delight, saith the Lord. You see? But the point was that we understand and know the Lord. You see? We know our power. We know what the Lord is capable of. We know the certain judgments that the Lord can bring down to destroy our enemies. The Lord told us with one rough word, you know, he gave us examples of how much power he has just off of his words being spoken in the earth. The fact that his words are being spoken in the earth can collapse an empire, man. Just the words being spoken or the utterance of those names can cause a nation of people to tremble. You see, just the hearing those names, you know? And this is what we are glorying in. The fact that we have been blessed to be aligned with this power. Seeing that we are behind enemy lines and we see our enemies, mainly Esau, Edom, boasting himself in a carnal way, you know? Basically telling people that he is God, you know? He is the angels. He is all powerful, almighty, you know? He can't be taken down. He can't be told no. He can't be fucked with. But the Lord is going to show you he can be fucked with. But let's stick to the point. Let's go ahead to this video right here. Just showing you, you know, us believers, we have nothing to worry about. You see? Because the standard will be lifted. Let's get it.
He packs 90% of his blood cells into his liver, hiding them away, and starts to become transparent. A frog hunting specialist, searching for the telltale silhouette of prey. Once it's locked on to a target, it rarely goes hungry. But he doesn't run away. He sits tight and does something magical. He packs 90% of his blood cells into his liver, hiding them away, and starts to become transparent. Then he shrinks many of his organs to a third of their original size. So he all but disappears. But even one move would reveal his presence. He must stay still. The snake moves on. He's one of the only animals on Earth that can disappear like this. No wonder he's known as a glass frog.
Yeah. Hey, and there you go. You got it right there. The Lord shows us that's an example of the Lord's incorruptible spirit being in all things, man. So when Yahweh Shai said we were going to do greater miracles, these are things that the Lord is preparing us for. In a situation that seems where you're back against the wall, the Lord can always make a way for you to escape. And the Lord can go as far as even when Esau comes in or kick your door down or whatever situation you may be in where the Gurga troops is on you, you know, or whatever the case may be, the Lord can have you to go invisible, you know? The Lord can just have you to just go invisible, man. And that's why we say the water Yahweh Shema Shai. And that's why it's important to have that that mindset of faith and that spirit of faith, you know, that gift of faith, because that's the only way that the just is gonna live, by faith. But going here, Genesis 27, verse 39, it says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above. Seeing, and this is Esau's blessing that he got from Isaac, man, which is playing out at this very moment, because the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. You know, it says, and by thy sword shall thou live. You see, this is how Esau has been able to sustain his kingdom for this long, because the Lord gave him power on the left hand side in the form of the sword. That's why this man's technology has increased from a flamethrower all the way up to an ICBM missile, man, or a bullet that could go through walls, go around walls, you know. This nigga got robots with 50 calibers on them, or other weapons, you know. But that was this man's blessing, and he's gonna try to use that blessing to come against the Israelites, man. Mainly those in this truth. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And here's the point. And Esau hated Jacob. See, Esau hated Jacob. And we know that Esau is the so-called white man in today's age. He's been identified. That man of sin has been revealed, man. You know? And this is how you know that Esau is the wicked that the scriptures speak about. Just look at the state that the planet Earth is in. You know? Look at the state that the planet Earth is in, man. Look at the state that the people is in. And who has the influence in the planet Earth? Who has the main influence in the planet Earth right now? It's Esau. It's the so-called white man. Where he neither keepeth at home, nigga come in your house, squat, and put you out. Then take your wallet, take your identity, take all your information, and now he's you. Now, if that ain't wicked, then I don't know what wickedness is. You see, but that's clearly fucking wicked. But it says, and Esau hated Jacob. So you wonder why you Jakes keep getting shitted on when you on certain jobs with Edomites. You know, you always the target. It's always a problem with Karen, and she just so hell bent on you, you know. Like I mentioned earlier, you Jakes getting shot down in the streets, getting treated unfairly. Because this man hates you, man. Lord telling you, look, nigga, this is your enemy. You know what I mean? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And the Lord is telling us why this man hates us. Because that's what you Jakes, especially down here in Birmingham, man, in the South, you niggas cry out for why Esau don't like you. You know what I mean? You niggas are pathetic down here, man. You niggas, I'm talking about you old niggas, man. You old niggas are fucking pathetic down here, man. Why a white man don't love me? Ass nigga, man. You know what I mean? But continuing on, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. See, this is ancient hatred. It's because Esau got finessed by our forefather Jacob out of that birthright, you know. But really, it was already set up in the spirit by Yahweh Shema Shah. A man's goings is of the Lord. You see? It says in Esau, and then the Lord hate Esau. You know? Here it is, Esau hate us, and the Lord hate his ass. You know what I mean? And King David said, do not our Lord hate them that hate thee? You know? But it says, and Esau said in his heart, meaning in his mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Yeah, so this is the mindset of every Edomite. From a child to a 90-year-old shriveled up, raising demonic, old ass Edomite, you know what I mean? A middle-aged Edomite, you know. This is their mindset towards you Israelites, man. It's to destroy you. It's to kill you. And how much more for those of us that's in this truth, seeing that these elites, you know, is really, you know, these elites want to see us believers destroyed. They want to do away with the whole nation of Israel in its entirety, but they know that that task cannot be accomplished. They know that, but it don't mean that they're still not going to try to accomplish it. You see? Because this is this man's mindset. That's why it could be a simple thing between Jake and Esau in the streets, but Jake end up getting upped on and put 6 feet under over a small thing, you know. But that's because this man's mindset is to kill you, man. It's not to be your friend. It's just to finesse you and really just, you know, fuck you over, so to speak, you know. But this Revelations 12:12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. See, the reason why Esau is going to come down having great wrath is because he knows his time of ruling is short. Because the triumphing of the wicked is short. This man has only been given a little season to rule. But he has the mindset of immortality, so to speak. A vain mindset of immortality, to where he thinks that he can will himself to rule forever. You see, that's why it says, his basically rough and paraphrase, his mindset is that his houses will continue forever, you know. But that's how these Edomites think. But that's really talking about these elites, those that really control how things are being ran in the planet Earth. Not these low-level Edomites, you know, but the ones behind the scenes, not the ones they put in your face, man. You see, it says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. See, this man wants to make war with us, man. Make war with those that fear Yahweh Shema Shah, which is the elect. But the Lord is causing this man to be like this, just to show his power, just like he did during the time of ancient Egypt with Pharaoh, on how he hardened his heart, he hardened his mind. He didn't let the children of Israel go. You see? But what did that do? That eventually moved the Most High to step in on our behalf and to show his power, which led to Pharaoh and his army being drowned, man, and put to death. And that was what? A form of that standard being lifted. How much more today? You know? It says, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. You see? The elect, which keep the commandments of the Most High and had the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And what's the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai? It's the spirit of prophecy, man. Spirit of prophecy. This Zechariah 12 and verse 8, it says, in that day shall the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. See, the Lord's going to defend us. He's not going to leave us out there, just to let this devil consume us. He said we're not going to be put to shame. You see? And this is what's going to separate the doctrine being taught at Great Millstone from these other doctrines out here in this world, man. Because at the end of the day, Esau's, he's going to come down on everybody. And he mainly wants somebody, but the somebody he's going to come down on has a certain doctrine that trumps that moment. You see? Your pastor at church ain't fucking tell you nothing, about the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. He didn't stress that to you. Yeah, he may have brought up the time where Yahweh Shah fed, with the fishes and the loaves of bread. He may have brought that miracle up, You may have heard that before. But when it goes into, our enemies and what they desire to do to us in these last days, which is to see us destroyed, killed off, he doesn't give you no solutions. He doesn't give you no comfort on how to deal if you're put in a situation, when Esau wants to take your life, man. Or when your enemies in general want to take your life. But that's why, the Lord said he'll give us pastors according to his heart, which will feed us with the correct wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is able to save our souls, man. Because by the Lord raising up, the prophets in these last days, starting with our apostles and elders, a Great Millstone, we're able to get the correct understanding. You see? We're able to understand our power. You see? And that's important in these times. Because all these experiences that we're experiencing is all going back, to the power of the Lord in some form or fashion. Whatever situation you may be in, it all goes back to the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. But it says, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, you see? And the house of David shall be as power as the angel of Yahweh Shema Shah before them, you see? So that's their spiritual power, man. We seen the accounts of King David, putting thousands of men to death by the way of spiritual power. Samson, so on and so forth, man. David and his mighty men, and the Lord's going to raise us up, or he's raising us up with that power again. He's going to grant certain spirits that same power, you see? Even the weak among us, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. You see? So let's jump to the point right here. Let's get to the point. I'm going to go and close out. This Isaiah 59 and verse 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, it's Esau Edom when he come in with his troops, come in with his robots, come in with shit you ain't even thought existed. It don't matter what devices he goes comes with. You see? It says when the enemy shall come in like a flood. This is going to be an overwhelming moment right here for all of us. But with the faith, we understand that Yahweh Shema Shah is above any moment that we experience. It says, the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah shall lift up a standard against him. You see? So the Lord's going to lift up that standard against our enemies. Now let's go into this word or this phrase, shall lift up a standard. getting straight to the point, it says to flee, to escape. You see, so the Lord, he always makes a way for us to escape. He said he wouldn't put more on us than we could bear. But with the temptation, make a way for us to escape. And that's going to be escaping through what? Divine intervention. Whether an angel pop up, but mainly focusing on being able to disappear, because that's the next word, right? It says to escape, to take flight. Yeah. We'll mount up as eagles. Brothers are going to be flying out here, man. Fuck, what I mean? If you people don't believe, it doesn't matter. Yes, you're the same men that you see out on the highways and byways. Those same men that you talk shit about, that you scoff at, are going to be the same men that Yahweh Shema Shai is going to raise up with spiritual power. And you're going to see flying in the same planet Earth that you had your good job, your good your favorite woman, your favorite restaurant or whatever. This same world, same planet Earth, there's going to come a time where the Lord is going to raise men up and you're going to see men actually flying and doing all types of marvelous miracles through the names of Yahweh Shema Shai to glorify our power. And you're going to see men disappear in certain scenarios and situations, man. You see, when the troops come in, that's what it says right here. It says disappear, to cause to disappear, hide. You see? And just like we gave the example earlier of the glass frog, the Lord's incorruptible spirit being in all things, that's the Lord showing us that it's possible. That's why Yahweh Shai said, with man, this is impossible, roughly paraphrasing, but with Yahweh Shema Shai, or with Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, all things are possible. You see? We can do all things through Yahweh Shema Shai that strengthens us. You see? So Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.